Hi guys, Tugri here with a new video, and this video we're going to talk about soul shuffle and PvP in general in Dragonflight. This is more of a like discussion video, so you can have it on the background while playing or whatever, while cooking, for example. And I want to talk about soul shuffle, threes, twos, RBGs, and the concerns I have with soul shuffle on a lot of people are actually enjoying it, but not enjoying it. So I think the main frustrations I have with Soul Shuffle, because I'm going to talk about my perspective, so you can actually see that, look, you're not the only one thinking like that, or maybe I am the only one thinking like that. But Soul Shuffle is a very fun game mode for DPS, and also I would say for healers. I like Soul Shuffle. I enjoy the format, I enjoy having games, I enjoy kind of winning. I don't enjoy losing, but I will also talk why a bit further. I think in general with Soul Shuffle, my frustration comes from losing rounds where I feel like, why am I losing this? I should not be losing it. And there's a few reasons for it. For example, like someone goes AFK or has to reload because of a bug, which I understand, but normally you should try to at least see at the beginning of the lobby if your like keybinds are problematic, for example, so you have to reload. Or people are AFK because they went for a snack or they went for a toilet break or whatever, and you lose that round because of that. And you could have gone maybe 4 wins or 3 wins, but at the end of the day, you ended up with 2 wins because of that. I think that can bring a lot of frustration. Personally, that is the most frustration I can have in a game. Or people like actively not healing because I don't know, or like DPSing as well, because they're frustrated because they lost all the rounds, and the last round they don't want to like try, and that's really frustrating, especially if you are like on the grasp, like on the brink of having a extra win, for example. And all of these can be frustrating moments, which again, if you're on DPS, is even more frustrating because at the end of the day, you have a queue time, although sometimes the queue times are a bit longer or sometimes a bit shorter. It's a bit random for sure. And I think that can bring a lot of frustration in general. And I think also the format, which is very, very again, frustrating with the fact that if you lose the three first rounds, even if you're doing a comeback, it's not going to result into any CR gains, except if your MMR is that higher compared to the CR that you have. I think also like for other players where they are like having only 1 win or 2 wins and they don't feel like try harding to get a break even or to just lose CR, and that can like have a ripple effect on the other players. That can be very frustrating. I think healers as well. It's very frustrating to see like a warrior leap out of your range and like at the start of the match and actually get obliterated because they don't know what's up, or like people like actively not using their CC buttons, or people that are not using their buttons like in general. Like how many times I saw like a warrior not using their fear for like 3 rounds. It's pretty like often on like a few CR points. Like right now I'm 2k on my HBAL, so it's not like I'm seeing people not using their CC, but sometimes I do, and I feel like, what the hell are you 2k as an arms warrior if you're not using their fear to interrupt or to CC just in general, or to give some breathing to your healer and your off DPS. It feels really weird, and that can be very frustrating for a healer, for example. Or people are not pressing CDs, or they are not trying to interrupt CC while they have interrupt still available. And then you try to see on the interrupts how many interrupts there were in the game, and then you see like 0 or like literally 1. I'm very sorry for my voice, like I'm having a cold. I'm actually very sick, and I try to make videos because again, I try to maintain my schedule. But I think all of this is actually very frustrating. But I think the most part is it is because it's solo queue and solo shuffle, and no matter what you're going to say to your teammates, it's never going to end up positive. and there's never going to positively say, oh yeah, you're right, I'm going to do that next round. They're not going to do that. But if you're saying that to them and they adapt and they play versus you the way you would like them to play with you, well, you're going to have a bad time and you're going to be like pestering versus yourself. So often you're not even going to give advice because you know, look, if you're giving advice, chances are they're going to use it versus you. That, and also just like the fact that, again, I think it's not like a toxic environment. I think what toxic is the fact that you can play a soul shuffle game as a DPS, have a good game or a bad game, and you end up in a queue. And if you're having a bad game, then you're doubling down on the queue. Like you're losing, you lose CR, and you're back on the queue, which again is not going to give you any certainty on you gaining CR or losing CR next game. So that can be also frustrating. And my solution to that frustration is that I kind of let go on like caring about soul shuffle, like as the main PvP way of playing for me. So I decided to put more focus on 2s, put more focus on 3s, even trying to find a guild to get some RBGs going until we have solo queue RBG. I think just in general, if you put too much like eggs in one basket, which is soul shuffle, you're going to end up like very miserable. I think I already discussed it multiple times, but I feel like people should be reminded because again, I see a lot of comments about it, or even people are like texting me or whispering me and they're saying like, look, soul shuffle makes me angry, which I agree. I think it makes more angry than you're kind of happy. And personally, I prefer playing 3s. I prefer to play 2s with friends or with like nobodies, like, or like not nobodies, but like people I don't know pretty much. And I enjoyed it because it feels like, look, if one game doesn't go well, we can actually talk about it and maybe have improvement next game. If not, we'll just continue. If your friends are playing, then you're playing as well. If it's like a random and you feel like it's worth to explain how you could actually improve because you feel like that comp is going to go far, you can do that. And of course, you have some people that just leave after one loss, and that's quite terrible. But you kind of have to see in their own eyes if they feel like, look, maybe it's not worth to keep on going with that comp because it doesn't work. Or, for example, if you see that, look, he doesn't really respond well on feedback, why bother, you know? Or if he's not talking or he didn't even say hi, for example, why bother? And I feel like, again, since I put more emphasis into 3s and 2s, just in general, like even just enjoyment, although I'm playing like with friends or I'm playing with like randoms or whatever, or I play like comps that are not really optimal, I still enjoy it more than soul shuffle. The one times I enjoy soul shuffle is egoistically whenever I'm like chain winning and I'll never lose a lobby, and I feel like, look, that day was very, very productive to me. That's the only way I'm actually enjoying soul shuffle. I think a lot of people actually think like that, and it feels like addictive, right? If you're winning, you want to continue, you want to continue. If you're losing, you want to continue because you don't want to end on a loss and having a bad CR day, I would say. And it's very addictive to a way because, again, you cannot have the thing that you want because you have a queue time as a DPS, for example, or you cannot really come back from the loss that you made. You cannot really adapt, or you cannot really make your teammates better over time and get those wins anyways because you have 6 rounds, and often than not they're going to do it versus you instead of with you. So all of these things and complaints, I understand. I want to say again, I understand what you're feeling. You like soul shuffle, you want to like soul shuffle, but at the end of the day, you get frustrated from soul shuffle. You're getting angry from soul shuffle. You are getting some dissatisfaction, and then you get like a dopamine rush. You're winning, and you forget everything that went from before. And I understand it completely. And I want you to understand that you're not alone. I think most people are thinking like this. I think, again, luckily, I'm not bad on a holy paladin, although I'm not really a holy, like I'm not a healer main, but I'm not, in my opinion, not bad. I just need to play way more per week, at least like I started my MMR at 1.5, so again, having like somewhat of a positive ratio is not going to like skyrocket you to 2.4k, but I feel like, look, if I'm playing Holy Paladin, I keep on playing Holy Paladin, I can actually reach a very high rating. Although I'm not really enjoying healing too much, I enjoy it sometimes. But I feel like if I'm on my Holy Paladin and I have my teammates up, I will do threes. I will enjoy playing threes. Same for DPS. If I can actually like have two other guys playing with me, I'm not going to queue for Soul Shuffle. I might maybe queue for Soul Shuffle, but it will never pop because we're going to always be playing in threes. And that's what is fun about threes, but also in twos. Again, twos, let's not forget about twos. It's the capacity to have a teammate and queue and often have an insta pop or a 30-second pop, which is reminding me on the times wherever I play League of Legends and I want to start a game, and I just get to gaming in the 5 minutes times, you know? And I feel like Soul Shuffle, even as a healer, I get a mini queue like 1 or 2 minutes, but like at DPS, I get like often between 10 or 15 minutes, and it is useful if you're doing other things at the same time. For example, if you're playing Hearthstone, or if you're playing like TFT, or whatever game you can play at the side, same as World of Warcraft, I would say. Or you have a second account and you're doing some WoW Classic or whatever, that's going to be useful. Or if you're studying or working, yes, having every time a 15-minute break can be quite useful. But again, I wish if I play DPS to be able to play like constantly. And that's not going to be happening in Soul Shuffle. But I like threes, I like twos. I think twos is also very fast paced. I think the issue with twos is I'm not really playing specs that are really enjoyable in twos. But often or not, if I really want to play twos in DPS or healer, I just play the meta specs. And I understand that it feels like flavor of the month thing, but I don't remember a time where some specs are better in twos and got worse and then got better in twos. Like, again, I think Frost Mage in general, if you're playing with a healer, it's always going to be miserable, for example. Or Fire Mage with a healer is always going to be miserable. You can win games, but it will be dampening games. Same for Elemental Shaman with a healer. It's very dampening, very frustrating, because again, a DH or a Windwalker will do like 10,000 times better than you. And it is a melee bracket, let's be honest. Twos is more of a melee bracket, and you have like the odd, not really odd, but like the meta BM specs. You have demonology warlock. You have, I don't know, you don't really have a lot of like twos range specs. Like I guess you can also make it work. A destruction warlock with a resto shaman or resto druid can also be working for you. But you have to play the better specs. If you're playing like the least interesting specs and like very dampening specs, can be very long, very tedious. But that's how twos is. But again, if you're playing like multiple specs, multiple classes, you can say, look, this class or this spec is my twos spec. I'm going to play twos with my friends or with a random, trying to find new friends. I found like multiple new friends while like doing my devastation evoker gearing, and I might make a video again about the specs individually. I made a video about evoker specs and like my opinion, like first time opinion. But I think, yes, LFG is rough, and yes, it's very difficult to find people. And sometimes they ask like stupid requirements, which again, if you have an achievement from BFA, who cares, you know? But I feel like if people actually went a bit in LFG while sitting in Soul Shuffle, you could actually find way more satisfaction playing in twos or in threes compared to Soul Shuffle. I think Soul Shuffle is very frustrating for DPS to just wait and play, while I would say like twos or threes, it can be very like satisfying if you have like the right people to play with. RPG is the same. If you have a good guild and you can have like a good time, it can always be very fun. I just think it takes a lot of time to actually gain CR in RPG, so the satisfaction of actually climbing is not as big as in twos or in threes or even in Soul Shuffle. Also, finding a guild that is willing to play your spec, for example, let's be honest, if you're playing Survival Hunter, it is unlikely you're going to get an invite. If you're having your own groups or you have like a friends group going on, you can always play whatever you want. But the meta in RPGs is even worse than in twos or in threes or in Soul Shuffle. Like, it's way more meta oriented, and for a good reason, I think, because again, having a few pieces of the puzzle like being missing kind of can destroy the whole group synergy in general. But I would say if you have struggles with soul shuffle as a healer or a DPS, and you enjoy the game, and you keep on playing soul shuffle because of either peer pressure or you feel like that's the main game mode, so I'm going to play it, I would invite you guys to test to focus on 2s or 3s. I know it's very frustrating with LFGs. Sometimes you will have to look up, but if you're like a very good guy and you are in LFG and you kind of like make a bond with someone that you don't know, like on Xbox, whenever you're trying to play Gears of War with people and you found like people, you added them on your friends list on Xbox, and then you played with them. The same as in World of Warcraft, you have to find, you have to struggle a bit, but once you found like the 2 or 3 or 4 mates you can play, like rotating between them for 2s or 3s, you can actually go far in enjoyment, I would say. Not really per se in CR, MMR, because again, you're going to face versus people that are way better than you in 2s and 3s often than not. But I think if you can actually like put your focus on other things outside of Soul Shuffle, I think you would have a better time in PvP and World of Warcraft. I think if you're a new like player, I think it's very frustrating to play Soul Shuffle because you're going to get destroyed, like whispering, party chat or whatever, and also just in general you're going to lose CR. So the best way to improve and learn PvP is, in my eyes, 2s. I think it's way calmer of an environment to actually learn to play and learn to play versus different specs. I think 3s is also a good environment, but you need to have like 2 friends that are there to actually explain you what's going on. But in 2s, I feel like it's a bit more slow and it's more about CC. So you try to learn about CC, you try to learn about like rotations, CDs, try to run away, try to go back. It's more of a puzzle game, and it feels way more calm for any new player to learn the game as a healer or a DPS. And if you're a DPS, don't be shy to do some double DPS. If you're like a hunter, find another feral druid or find another hunter to play like a cheesy comp where you can actually destroy someone. If you're a destruction warlock, don't be scared to play with a shadow priest or elemental shaman, for example. Again, the meta specs and the meta comps are with a healer, but if you really struggle finding a healer or you feel like it's not fast-paced enough and you're like bored of it, just play double DPS. It could be fun, it could work for you. It is not going to be like Wrath of the Lich King kind of thing where you can actually survive a long time. But I think you can find a lot of enjoyment about the things that are actually currently on the game. And Soul Shuffle is innovative, it is fun, it can be very frustrating. I think it is very frustrating in general. But if you can actually put your eyes out of the Soul Shuffle grind and you go for 2s or 3s, you can find a lot more enjoyment in Soul Shuffle as a side piece of the grind instead of like the main piece. And that's my take. Hopefully you understand that. If you want to talk about it, please let me know in the comment section below. Again, be civilized in the comments. I know some people die for Soul Shuffle, and that's great for you. I like that for you, that you are enjoying for Soul Shuffle. Personally, I like Soul Shuffle, but I may say my enjoyment in the game has been cool, like way higher since that I actually enjoy 2s and 3s way more. I try to play way more 2s and 3s to compensate the queue times from the Soul Shuffles that I'll actually wait. So again, thank you for watching this video. I really appreciate you. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't done that yet. We do PvP content, PvP guides, PvP matches, PvP everything. So let me know what you think about the channel, and we will catch you up probably very soon in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.